Hello and welcome to Football Frenzy. I am your host Finn Collins, and today we'll be discussing the Manchester United and Chelsea all-time Premier League 11. Today we've got a bit of fan interaction. We're joined by Chelsea fan Jake Costello and Manchester United fan Nick Maburu. So boys, how have we been today?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm alright, thanks. I'm looking forward to this. I'm really excited. Nick, what about you?
Hope everything's well. Good week of Champions League. See and Arsenal go home. You'll have to see it.
Well, Mauricio Pochettino's Blues have been a bit poor this season, haven't they, Jake?
Up and down.
Yeah, and then Erik ten Hag's Reds have been pretty much the same.
Yeah, instead of up and down, it's just down. I mean, we're just not that good, are we? So
We're both just lacking, aren't we, this season?
Yeah, just a bit.
Anyway, let's just get right into it. Let's start with the goalkeeper. Jake, who would you like to put forward to be in goal?
Better check your team sheet because I'm putting in Petr Cech. It has to be him.
sadly, I really want to fight my case for all the keepers we had, but Cech just beats them all, doesn't he? We can't really argue that. So yeah, I'll give it to Cech.
You're going for the Czech international, Petr Cech?
Yeah, I see what you did there.
So, all right, we'll just move straight on to right back then. So, right backs, you've got a plethora of right backs.
I would like to, could fight my case, but Ivanovic, Azpilicueta, the longevity of them both, the trophies they won, but Gary Neville has won a lot more trophies, and I'll be happy to put him in the team there.
I mean, you now have to use your brain, which is a good thing. So, I mean, Premier League himself, 13 Prems, 12 Prems, whatever the number is, just so consistent for so long. It's Gary Neville indeed.
Gary Neville for right back,
Gary
is that
Neville
our conclusion?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll move on to centre backs, but we'll be a bit more, we'll modernise it a bit. We've got right centre backs and left centre backs, judging how people play nowadays. So we'll start off with the right side. We'll start with you, Nick, this time. Who would you like to put forward for right centre back?
I mean, it's the Serbian himself, Mr. Vidic, Nemanja Vidic, man. PFA player 2 times, 2 years in a row. You know, Gerrard, Lampard, Drogba, the names at that time, and the fact he was a centre-back was able to win such a big award with all the attackers and midfielders playing at that time is so not talked about. So Vidic himself.
Jake, have you got anything to counteract that?
So you got like Ricardo Carvalho, he would be up there with him and John Terry as a partnership because 15 goals conceded. You've got a lot of great centre-backs in Chelsea's times, Desailly, you've got, you know, them sort of names, but I will agree, Vidic does get in there.
So we're going for Nemanja Vidic.
Vidic,
So yeah, we'll go flip the other side then. Who do you want on the other
side?
centre-back?
We need in partnership with JT, captain, leader, legend. He has to be in there. There's no doubt. Greatest centre-back in Premier League history, in my opinion, and he just has to make it.
Yeah, I really wanted to put Ferdinand in. What a partnership those two were, but it's got to be John Terry. I mean, he is Chelsea. You know, he is Mr. Chelsea. You know, the big goals he scored, those clutch goals, no doubt, Mr. Terry.
We're all very agreeable today, aren't we? Yeah. So we'll move straight on to left back then. I'm sure this will be very straightforward, but Jake, who would you like to put forward for left back?
Ashley Cole left the red side of London for the blue side, and what a decision that was. Champions League, multiple Premier Leagues, League Cups, FA Cups. He's won the FA Cup. He's got double digits for that, I think, 10, 11 times. So he has to be in there starting left back.
I mean, we were so agreeable at one point, but I'm going to have to stop all the cute stuff now. It's Evra at left back. I mean, he says, you know, he's won all those accolades. Evra's won all those accolades as well. Very technical left back. Young at Monaco, we picked him up, very good, matured his way in, captained the club, and what a way he left too. You know, such a good technical fullback, Mr. Evra.
No doubt he was a good, maybe great fullback, but Ashley Cole is a legend fullback. He is the when you think of left back, you think of Evra, you think of Ashley Cole.
Same thing. You could say the same thing.
You can't say the same thing because when you think of left backs, you don't go Patrice Evra.
Who doesn't go Patrice Evra?
Me.
Oh, okay.
Ashley Cole. It has to be Ashley Cole.
We're going to have to wrap up this segment. Are we in disagreement? Because if we are, I'm going to have to come up with the final answer.
I just think that we did at Arsenal as well, the whole invincible team. I'll give it to Cole, sadly.
Ashley Cole, yeah?
Yeah.
Ashley Cole.
Agree on Ashley Cole.
I'll give it Ashley Cole.
Thank you. You found your
Moving on to the middle of the park now, the midfield, arguably the most important part of the pitch. Who are we going to go for a holding style number 6 player, Jake?
Holding number 6, you've got a lot of variety there. You've got Makelele, then the name I'm putting forward, N'Golo Kante. Won the Premier League at Leicester. Straight after the season after, won back-to-back Premier Leagues after that at Chelsea. It's just, he's an engine in that midfield and he's vital to every Premier League team.
I mean, all I heard was Roy Keane there. I mean, how many Prems has he won? The best captain we've ever seen. You know, media doesn't do him justice. We just see all these slide tackles, all these red cards. He was a reckless player, but this guy could play ball. Juventus, last minute of the game, we had to score to go through to the final. Who turned up and who sacrificed himself with a yellow card? Roy Keane. Kante ain't doing that. Clutch himself.
Kante has sacrificed himself. For that Champions League 2021 final, he was the man of the match. He had Man City locked up, that whole Man City team. De Bruyne, probably the greatest Premier League midfielder, he had him locked up in his back pocket. He had the whole team in his back pocket, and it's N'Golo Kante, the little 5'6" man, running up and down the pitch. It's just immaculate to watch, the engine of him, and it's just the best.
Could say the same. I mean, Keane had to go up against Zidane, prime Zidane at Juventus. Who else? Petit, Del Piero, all these players. You know, you're saying the same thing with City. Keane done it before that. So if you want to do that, we can do it. Roy Keane.
I just think I prefer N'Golo Kante in my midfield compared to Roy Keane. Roy Keane, great player, but Kante has more technical ability.
In disagreement, yeah, is that what we're saying? Well, so you're saying N'Golo Kante, you're saying Roy Keane. As the host, I will have to go with Roy Keane purely for the history that he has, just in general in the whole of football. When you think of Premier League midfielders, you think of Roy Keane. We'll move on to a more of a number 8 style midfielder now, kind of, you know, midfield maestro. Jake, who would you like to put forward?
Got a lot of midfield maestros that have been at Chelsea, but I'd like to put forward Essien. He was a great player. The goals he could score, it was just immaculate to watch, and he's just an unreal and unbelievable player in his time.
Sorry, I was just laughing a little bit. Essien. He was good, but
quality player.
Disrespect to the guy who has a few problems off the pitch, but Paul Scholes, the fact you've not said him really shocks me.
Nick, I haven't said him because I had to pick a Chelsea player.
Yeah, don't be biased. I'm not a biased guy. Look at the box-to-box engine. Could play in that number 10 role, played second striker, could score goals. If you wanted him to do that, he could do it. Best passer of the ball we've seen in a very long time. One of the best in the Prem. Just Scholes just beats Essien in every department. No doubt.
No doubt that Paul Scholes is a great player, and he probably, most definitely, is better than Essien. So I would have to say Paul Scholes, but I thought I'd put Essien in there to spice up the mix because Essien has a place in my heart.
We in agreement with?
Cute, isn't it?
It is very.
We in agreement with Paul Scholes?
Paul Scholes is,
I do think Essien's more of a defensive style midfielder, but
up and down.
Yeah. So Paul Scholes, for that number 8 position.
Yeah, go on then.
We'll move forward now into a number 10 style position. Jake, who would you like to put forward?
Super Frankie Lampard. You cannot write him up. The Chelsea's top goal scorer. It's the things he's done for England and for Chelsea. He has to be in there.
I mean, it's such a shame I can't redo my collar up right now because of this microphone. But the one guy who could play unbelievable with his collar up was Eric Cantona. This guy joined from Leeds, winning a Prem. He came with that Prem and won us with a Prem as well. He wasn't really a number 10, more of that centre-forward second striker like a Bergkamp was, but he could easily play there. Mr. Cantona, how many Prems did we win with him? And before that, we were terrible before Cantona. We weren't winning games. We were struggling. Liverpool were dominating that era. So for Cantona to come in from Leeds to just all of a sudden win Prem after Prem, his impact, one of the best captains we've ever seen. I don't know if Lampard could do that, to just come out of nowhere and just have that impact. So the chip as well, the celebration with the collar up, Cantona.
It has to be Lampard. At West Ham, he was struggling, got called a fatty, bless him. He trained hard. He was out there with a bag of balls, just kicking them at the goal constantly until he got it precisely right. And it just made him such a good player. He put in the effort, put in the work. and he's Chelsea's greatest player.
Lampard was one of the hardest working players we have seen in recent times, especially in the Premier League. But Cantona, man, the ability, what this guy could do in his testimony game. This guy's just running through people like it happens. This guy didn't have to practice shooting because he already had it. He was that good. He didn't need to practice like Lampard.
That's where Lampard comes in, 'cause he's so great. He just continues to work hard, and he got himself up to that level where I'd say he's better than Cantona.
Cantona brought us back to that level where we belong, at the top. And we had that era of Sir Alex Ferguson. That all kicked off with Cantona, arguably the best ever signing United ever made. How much was he? What, 1 million? I don't know.
I'm going to have to chase you guys for time now. Are we in disagreement again with
I am in
Cantona and
disagreement. I
Lampard?
just don't think Cantona can play in that midfield role.
You know what? I'm going to go Cantona, just for the controversy. I do love a bit of controversy.
So again, as the host, I have the deciding vote, and for a midfield to balance it out with Keane and Scholes, I think Lampard really does personify that. So I think that's our completed midfield. You've got the holding, Roy Keane, the maestro, Paul Scholes, and the goal scorer with, 211, 212 Premier League goals? Frank Lampard.
77. Don't let them lie to you.
Okay, so we've done the defence and the midfield. We'll move on to the front three. We'll start off with the left wing. I think both teams have had big history in the left side of the pitch. But we'll start off with you, Jake. Who are you putting
I'm
forward?
putting forward the Belgian magician, Eden Hazard. He is the greatest Premier League winger I've ever seen. He's just, the dribbling is just the best dribbler I've seen since Lionel Messi. That's the only one who competes with him because he's that good. He's been compared to the greats of Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi. You just can't not put him in this team.
I mean, the real Belgian magician on the left wing was Eden Januzaj, but we're not even going to get into that conversation. But left wing, Premier League himself again. How many Premier Leagues do I have in this team? Ryan Giggs, this guy, came in, kicked in the team at how old? This guy showed the whole country how to be a left midfielder. Cooked at a young age. The Arsenal goal says it all. How many times have you seen that goal on your television as a kid? And just got old. He didn't have the legs anymore. He decided to play in the midfield. Even though that is a position you need legs, he could still do it at 40 years old. There's clips of him against Newcastle at 40, pinging balls with Scholes. This was normal for them. This was light work for them. And how many Prem did he leave with? What a player. The evolution of him as well. Just forget the hairy chest he had, but still, what a player, Ryan Giggs.
To fight my case for Hazard, he's just the best Premier League winger again. Like, he's just that good. He brought a togetherness within the Chelsea fans. Best winger. He brought a togetherness with the Chelsea community for that years. Those sad years, he carried us that Europa League with Giroud. He just carried Chelsea. He deserved a Champions League. He deserved that. But unfortunately, we couldn't deliver it to him.
He got it at Madrid.
He did get it. He did, but he deserved it with Chelsea. That's why he's supposed to be at the Chelsea. Yeah, it is cute because he was just that good. He brought the fans so much smile and a reason to turn up at Stamford Bridge and watch those games in that depressing era. So that's why it's Eden Hazard.
Ryan Giggs probably doesn't have the goals for the appearances, but he didn't need the goals because that's not what he was there to do. You just give him the ball, let him run, let him whip a ball in. There's a reason he has the most assists in history, and no one's going to catch up to that soon, and I'm that confident in it. Where's Hazard now, by the way?
He's retired. He's living his best life.
He's playing with iShow speed now. That's the levels we've dropped now. Ryan Giggs at 40
The
years
levels
old
have only dropped because of the injuries.
League.
If he didn't have the injuries, he would be going for long and long and long.
You could say with Ryan Giggs, he could have retired at 38,
yeah, but
39.
he had the ability to. He had the ability to.
And did Hazard have the ability to? I don't think so.
No, because he got his ankle snapped. He got them completely
guys,
torn.
Let's stop it there, okay? Are you adamant you want Eden Hazard?
I've never been so confident.
Are you adamant you want Ryan Giggs? Again, as host, I will have to decide myself, but it's a very, very close debate. But I think if it was in a different formation, I think Giggs would definitely be in there. But in the 4-3-3, I think it has to be the blue, Eden Hazard.
Brilliant player.
Fair enough.
And then moving swiftly on to the right side, I don't think people really look at the right wings very often, but who are we going to go for?
So you got lots of Robin. You could play Zola there, but I think it has to be Cristiano Ronaldo in that position in this joint 11. Yeah, it has to be. His name speaks for itself. Cristiano Ronaldo is in this team.
Yeah, I mean, I could have had Beckham. I could have had Ronaldo. Many Nani as well. Probably not as high as those other two, but it's got to be Ronaldo. Ballon d'Or Ronaldo says it
I
for
think
himself.
all three of us are in agreement. There has to be Ronaldo.
Yeah.
So that was a pretty easy one. But moving on to the big name, the fox in the box, the main man, the strikers. Who are you putting forward, Nick?
Mr. England himself, Wazza, Wayne Rooney. Wayne Rooney, man. Let's not waste time here. Do you want me to rant about him, or you wanna? I'll give Jake some time.
You want to give
You wanna
Jake
give me some
time
time?
to answer?
So
I'll
you
give
mentioned
some time.
about, the Ryan Giggs, you mentioned about his longevity. Where's Rooney's longevity compared to the likes of the king of Stamford Bridge, Didier Drogba?
Oh, it's there.
It's there.
Yes.
It's not there.
Debuted 16 years old at Everton against an invincible team, and look at the goal he scored.
Great player, no doubt.
16 years
Great player,
old.
great player.
And on top of
But-
that, he got to Euros 04 at 18 years old, played against prime France, Henry, Zidane, Petit, all those big names, Thuram as well. And he cooked them up at 18 years old. And then, you know what? A little boy with a big sign says, "Buy Rooney." Alex buys Rooney, and the rest is history, you know.
The manager takes transfer requests from a little boy. That doesn't sound like a good manager to me. It's Didier Drogba in this position. He's the goals he scored, 9 goals in 10 finals. That is just insane.
Do you know
He
what's
was
also insane?
His home was Wembley. His second home was Wembley.
Do you know what's also saying? A Champions League hat-trick on his debut at 18 years old.
That is crazy. That
Let's
is crazy,
not
but
waste time. The big goals against AC Milan. The most goals in the Manchester derby.
how many goals he got in finals?
A few. Barcelona.
But how many?
Barcelona.
How many?
Barcelona. I don't know.
Drogba
But he has a
scored.
few. Carabao Cup, I remember. And the Barca, from what I
From what
remember.
you remember.
But he loves a goal. He loved the goal against Arsenal. Even Drogba.
Drogba
did.
loves to go against
Yeah.
Arsenal.
He did.
He loved to go at
But
Wembley as well
Rooney,
in
he
finals.
gives- Yep, he gives you finals. Yeah.
Finals matters.
Rooney-
What wins you trophies?
Apart from goals, Rooney gives you more in a final anyway. He gives you more as a player. He's so much more of a team player. He can play on the left wing, right wing. He sacrificed himself for Ronaldo to be the player who he is today. And Tevez, who he was at the time as well. So if you want to do this whole thing about the finals, Rooney was there, but he didn't score in every game because he didn't need to score. His technical, so...
He didn't need to score because the amount of other good players in the team.
We called him the White Pele for a
Look
reason.
at the
Come on,
2012.
man.
Look at the 2012 Champions League winning team.
Look at the
Look at the
bicycle
names
kick.
in there, and look who saved that team.
Man City.
John
2011,
Terry wasn't
Old
even playing.
Trafford.
It was Drogba who had to step up.
Rooney! What did my...
Drogba! We can go about this all day.
Okay, we'll have to wrap it up there, guys. Are we in severe disagreement?
Severe.
disagree.
You're going Drogba and you're going Rooney? Well, again, as the host, I think Drogba definitely is the king of Stamford Bridge. He scores in a lot of finals, but I do think that Rooney's just Premier League status and his legend status just in world football, he has to get in the team. So, Nick, I'll give this one to you.
200 goals, 100 assists. Only a player to ever do that. It's no debate, man. No debate.
We'll move on to a manager now, just for, add a little bit of spice to it at the end. Who would we like to put forward
I would
for
like
it,
to
Jake?
put forward Jose Mourinho. Unbeaten at home for X amount. I think it was about 4 years. No, more than that. About 6 years unbeaten at home. That ain't never getting beat. The 15 goal season he conceded, that ain't never getting beat. It's just he's the greatest manager of all time.
How many Prem has Mourinho got?
Quite a few.
How many?
Quite a few.
I want the number. I
The
want the
number off the top of my head, he's got 3.
And how many's got Sir Alex got?
That's calm.
How many answers?
I don't care how many he's got. That's not.
13. And that ends the debate. Thank you, Finn, for your time.
I do agree. It will have to be Sir Alex Ferguson. He is arguably, with probably Pep Guardiola, the greatest manager the Premier League has ever seen. And with that, our 11 is complete. Let's have a look at it. Petr Cech in goal, Neville at right back, Vidic and Terry as the centre-back partnership, Ashley Cole at left back, Roy Keane in midfield, Scholes in midfield and Lampard in midfield, Hazard, Rooney and Ronaldo up top with Sir Alex Ferguson as the manager. That's all the time we have today. Next week we'll be joined by a City and an Arsenal fan, but for today, all I have to say is thank you, Jake, and thank you, Nick, for participating in Football Frenzy. I have been Finn Collins. Good night.